Hello and welcome back to this channel. Today is going to be a very big day because right now I'm outside to go turn off the water because this morning we began to hose off the furniture, so I'm very excited about that. So hopefully by the end of the day we can have the furniture in the room. We also got the very last shelves in the mail today, so I'm very excited to build those and install those. Also, we were waiting on those to install the grill lights, so possibly at some point in today's video we might begin to start to really install the grill lights, which I'm very excited about. We're also going to be moving a lot of stuff around the ecosystem. We're going to be doing a lot of work just all throughout the room, so today's video is going to be very fun. Before we do go and start today's video, please subscribe, hit the notification on all so you know every video, and please like this video. I'll see you guys when we get in the room. Alright, so we are now in the room, but here it is. There's a lot going on in here, and really the last few days has moved like crazy quickly. Number one, the shelves are here. So we have 3 boxes full of that. Number 2, if you guys haven't seen the update on the fish tank aquaponics system has gotten some massive updates. There's a lot of great stuff going on in here. Fish are really enjoying it. You can look through here. Looks absolutely great. Looks like I overfed the fish a little bit today. There's a lot of brand new things going into the fish tank to make it a lot more advanced. Number 1, a brand new biofilter, which is like a little less than 3 times bigger. It's about 2.5 times bigger, which is absolutely incredible. There's also about 8 new fish in here. You can actually see one of the baby goldfish right there. Lots of great stuff. You can also see another one right there that's a little bit bigger than the other baby goldfish, but looks absolutely great. You can see we've gone all over with the light, and really I just moved it to full spectrum light because just blue light isn't going to be the best for the fish and really for the best of the fish, and it does look pretty cool. I'm just going to have to keep it at a full spectrum light. It just helps the fish be a lot more better. Looks like the fish are kind of having a good playtime right now, so you kind of see them chasing all over, but looks absolutely great. Now, if you look all through here, I'm very excited about this, but check all this out. The ecosystem, or the aquaponics, I keep saying ecosystem instead of aquaponics. The aquaponics system has 1 new tower, which I'm very excited about, but going into this room, there's a lot of great stuff happening too. Now, number 1, if you look on the table, this is one of the 2 panels that will go over the fish tank. You can see there's no panels right now, which is definitely a problem because sometimes the fish will jump when they get really excited for feeding time. So there's one thing. Also, speaking of feeding time, I'm looking at getting an automatic fish feeder, which would take stress off of forgetting to feed the fish. Also, it'll make it a lot more kind of designated where the amount of overfeeding doesn't really happen in one session. The fish can get fed like 3 times a day, which is just a lot more productive for the fish too. Also, this room has a lot of work still to go through. Just the entire space still has a lot of work to do. But if you look over the bar, you can see one of the other panels. That one is a great one too. I had to glue the pieces together last night. I was going to put the covers over really last night, but just for some reason, the pieces didn't really fit together that great. When I would pick it up, I'd feel very nervous that it would break. So I ended up gluing it together, and I might just flip it over in like an hour or 2 once it is 100% dry. And I'm going to do the other side too, just to give it kind of a 2-sided coat of glue. You can also see we got some brand new grow lights. Well, more brand new grow lights here. More on the floor. Now, kind of what I was saying earlier about the furniture. So we have some outdoor furniture that we're going to move into here. We got very lucky with that area, but we're going to have 1 chair right here while we're going to have a 2-person kind of seating area right here. Very excited about that. And then once winter happens, when we have to store all our outdoor furniture indoors for the winter season, I may bring in a few more pieces of furniture, but very excited about that. Now, I will say the odds of me moving the ecosystem today is slim. Number 1, because it's going to go right here. And if you guys have any like wooden tables, the thing is, when the wooden table gets wet and you don't pick it up and you don't kind of wipe it up really quickly, it's going to kind of destroy the table in the way. So the thing is, I ended up ordering a plastic mat. It looks like a chair mat, but without the spikes that go into the carpet. but I'm gonna put that over. I'm gonna kind of cut an exact piece out of it that perfectly fits the table, and then the ecosystem will go on top of that. And then I think for the idea of getting use out of it and just having a good space for it, I think it'll do pretty good in that space right here. Maybe a little bit more difficult to kind of fully control the water temperature with like windows and it being super close to just outside. So a little bit worried about that, but we got some picture areas ready to go in. I ended up placing an order a little bit ago for some brand new clothing, so I'm very, very excited about that. And also some giant picture frames that will go, not right there, one will go at the very end of the hallway right there, and then another one will go right there in the very middle, so I'm very, very excited about that. Definitely a lot of picking up to do, but for the idea of today's video with trying to get as much done as possible, I'm just gonna go ahead and start the time lapse on whatever I start doing really next, which will most likely be probably doing the shelves first. So let's go ahead and start that. But before I do build the shelves, I'm gonna go ahead and glue these panels first. I just finished. This is just looking absolutely insane. It is making so much progress. I will say, I feel like I'm gonna have to move them slightly here and there to kind of find their official final spots and kind of measure, because this walking path is slightly smaller than this by a few inches. Not anything crazy like 10 inches, but it's definitely noticeable. I will say I'm definitely gonna have to look into possibly scooting it closer to that wall, but to some extent, this door still has to open and not hit the shelves to really an extent. If you guys were watching the time lapse and really just locked in on watching the time lapse, you probably noticed me walking over to the fish tank. I was noticing a lot, like 4 or 5 of the goldfish were just chasing one of the little fancy goldfish, not like the brand new ones. That one, I had 2 of those. I had a very small one and I had the bigger one. That is the bigger one. So the thing is, the small one, I felt like was gonna get hurt because all the biggest fish, the feeder goldfish, that one right there, and the other bigger ones, looks like the other bigger ones are at the very back, but they all were chasing that little goldfish. And I was a little bit nervous that it was gonna get hurt. Maybe one of the fins was gonna get hurt and then it would have to go into recovery. So the thing is, I moved it out of the fish tank. I took it out, moved it to a separate area, hopefully to let the other fish calm down. That is a possibility of mating too. So there's that, but at the same time, I don't really want that to happen in the fish tank and have hundreds of baby goldfish swimming throughout this. It would be awesome to see that, but the thing is, when I have a biofilter of that size and have a pumping system that strong, I am very nervous I'm going to get little baby goldfish in the reservoir, which I do not want. And that's another reason why I take the snail eggs out when they do hatch, when they do lay in this. Because really the point of me designing and building the ecosystem was to let all of that happen. So I don't have goldfish in it, I have guppies in this. So you can see there's hundreds of baby guppies in here. All over. I really need to throw a bottom feeder catfish in here to help clean the bottom again, but this will be moved eventually onto that table. I already said that a second ago, but I'm not gonna do it today. I'm most likely gonna do it tomorrow when I put a cover over it. The table also needs to be kind of cleaned up a little bit because it is, for some reason, sticky from old stickers being stuck to the sides. So you probably noticed the room is also really, really clean. So the thing is, I ended up moving the shelves against that table while this table has no home. The thing is, what I mean by that is when I designed 2.0 in this brand new, absolutely incredible space, I had plans to use this big one, and then this one is slightly longer than that table right there, but this table is slightly different because it has this back spot to it. So that is very, very exciting right there, but that is the main table in the room. This is the secondary one where basically only harvesting will happen, while the bar and where you can see that computer monitor is where a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, the online stuff will happen. So the thing is, I don't have a really good spot that would be used a ton for the table. I don't really have an exact purpose of what it would be used for. But the thing is, when I have a table, a commercial table that is, well, I'm assuming you guys know the price of how expensive these are. I don't really want to just throw it into a dumpster and call it good because it was definitely expensive. So I think I'm just gonna kind of keep it there. Not really the best spot, but really at this point, it's really the only spot. So this area is gonna look good. I'm gonna go ahead and go grab the furniture really, really quickly. I washed it all off, hosed it. Now, if you guys know anything about outdoor furniture, it's kind of the main furniture, while you also get cushions that just kind of slide onto it. So the cushions are being washed right now, so I don't know if we'll be adding the cushions on in today's video, but we're gonna go ahead and bring down the main structure of the kind of outdoor furniture. So let's go ahead and get it. All right, well, this looks great. Definitely gonna have to stall before the cushions are ready because the cushions, fingers crossed, should be ready in about 2 to 3 hours. Very, very excited about that. But we just got more packages. We got the pH down, which is so exciting because I've been out of this for weeks. Then we also got the automatic fish feeder. I'm very, very excited about that too. And then the one thing I'm the most excited for is the step trash can. Because if you guys look around, I've actually gotten a few comments throughout the last few months on this, is the trash cans. The trash cans in here don't look the most visually best, let's just say that. So I ended up getting a metal step trash can. Very, very excited about that. Looks a little bit short, but at the end of the day, that's still fine. As long as it still looks good, still works, still holds a good amount of trash, I'm fine with it. So let's go ahead and start the time lapse of opening up this one, getting it all kind of ready and set up, and same with the fish feeder. For the first thing, the trash can looks great. I mean, check this out. Now that is nice. When your hands are like full of just whatever, you can just go up to it, put your foot down on it, and then boom, it's already open. Very, very excited about that. Also, it looks like the glue is for the most part dry. So I might let that sit for a little bit more, but check this out. So here's the problem. Number one, this is the sides. Not really the best. It kind of curves in that right there. It goes down right here. It's great for like a net and a cover, but it's not great for like an automatic fish feeder. So here's the thing. Number one, I'm very, very excited about this because it holds a great amount of food, and it also comes with a cover. But I mean, even though that's really, really nice, check this out. It is like, I mean, I guess it's not crazy unstable, but it's nerve-wracking to see that because it's just gets me a little bit nervous that it might fall in randomly, and then number one, the fish can get a crazy amount of fish food, and it also destroys the water quality. Number 2, it also destroys quite fancy automatic fish feeder. But check this out. You just press the button like that, and then boom, it opens up on the side, and it drops them. So it is really, really nice. Now, the plus about this is you can set it on 3 different modes. You can set it on 8 hours, which it'll dump every 8 hours, meaning it will dump 3 times a day. You can do 12 hours, which means it'll dump it 2 times a day, or 24 hours, which is just 1 time a day. So the thing is, I don't know if that's enough fish food, but number 2, times what it just dumped by 3, that's how much fish food it gets. And if I really wanted to know exactly by just sight, I could click the button 3 times, hold my hand under, and then it'll just dispense 3 times. So that is always a possibility, but I will say that definitely does get me a little bit nervous that it could fall in. Number 2, I am gonna have to cut on the netting, because, well, this isn't really gonna work because it does cover up one of the parts that it will lock onto. So that is definitely a possibility. But I will say, you guys are probably wondering, why don't you just not have this and you just do it by hand? That is definitely a possibility. The thing is, this automatically feeds it, which is awesome. But kind of what I'm saying there is, it happens every 8 hours. So number 1, it does it 3 times a day, which I only do 1 time a day. So it'll help with the fish. Number 2, it'll kind of put the fish on a certain time. And number 3, it'll definitely help keep the water quality a lot better. Because the thing is, I tend to I don't know about me feeding the fish, because I always feel like I overfeed them, and then the water quality is bad, and then I have to do a huge water clean, and the biofilter gets gross and smells horrible, and it's just this horrible nightmare of just maintenance. So this does really help with that idea of kind of keeping the water a lot more clean, and just kind of feeding the fish at a good time. It also holds a lot, so I don't have to fill it up like every single day. I can like fill it up like maybe twice a week or maybe once a week, depending on how fast it really goes through the fish food. But I'm very, very excited about that. It's definitely a great addition for the fish tank, and I think I may use it. I may use it for the next 24 hours, kind of see how it is and work from there. But I really do like this fish feeder. It's really pretty cool. All right, so speaking of stuff, I ended up moving the trash can to the very, very end of the bar over there. Very, very excited about that. I'm gonna have to do something with the box now though. But walking in here, I've done a lot of work with the fish tank. Now check this out. This is very, very exciting. So the fish tank for the most part is 100% done. The biofilter's installed, all the stuff is done. I just kind of need to move some stuff around and connect the main reservoir to the system. Right now it's going through a different type of setting. What's cool is this biofilter can process the water 2 different ways. From filtered, which is just goes through a ton of filters, making it great to go back to the fish tank. And then clean, which goes through less filters, doesn't get as filtered, but it gets filtered enough to the point where the water becomes beautiful, great plant nutrients for the fish, and plants absolutely thrive in this. So I'm very, very excited about that, but that is very cool. Right now, I do have it on the setting that can go directly back to the water. So if you look at this, I just talked about it, but I ended up putting the netting over it. Looks great, fits great too. And then I ended up going with that thing I ended up telling you guys about. I ended up just installing it onto the actual netting. Now the problem is, there's more pros on installing it to this than the main fish tank. Number 1, the first thing that is really good is just all the fears about it falling in is kind of gone now, unless I accidentally drop it in. But the thing is, it's going to be very, very hard to like take it off down. So the thing is, I'm going to eventually have to kind of clean up the fish tank. I'm going to have to do maintenance on it here and there. I'm going to have to maybe add more fish, maybe take out some fish if they're sick or something. Maybe kind of scrub the sides once like algae starts to form on the sides. But the thing is, I'm going to have to take the net off. So I'm a little bit worried about stuff happening with that, but at the end of the day, I don't think it could be that bad. I think worst case scenario on the automatic fish feeder is when I do take it off, the lid dumps, and then the compartment that holds all the fish food falls in the fish tank, which would be like an absolute nightmare to clean up. But at the end of the day, I'm very, very excited about that. Now, kind of going throughout the rest of the room is making progress very, very quickly. Very, very excited about this. Now, the cushions are almost done for this, so that'll look great. Now, tomorrow, fingers crossed, I do get the panel in the mail, so the ecosystem can go on top of that. Very, very excited about that. But for the most part, the day is making progress very, very quickly. Now I'm trying to figure out what to kind of do next. Now, I would say I really do need to work on the shelves, but the thing is I don't really want to do it because it's going to be very complicated to figure out. But kind of what I'm saying there is what I need to do is I need to kind of measure the space in between this and just try to make the space as even as possible. Now, you're probably wondering, why don't I just scoot the shelves closer to the aquaponics? Now, that is a great suggestion. But the thing is, from 1.0, I had this pretty close to the shelving. And the thing is, when I kind of bent down to do work on the very bottom shelf, I scraped my back on these zip ties. Now, the thing is, it's not that bad because I've done drastic changes to this. So when I scraped my back on it, these happen to be facing out. So I scraped my back on about 3 of these. So now that happened about a year ago, and I still have scars on my back from brushing up against those really hard. So I'm going to do as many things as possible to keep as much distance between both of those as possible. Also, I need good walking space between the shelving unit and the fish tank. So that should be pretty good. I'm thinking for now, I'm probably just gonna have to barely move these this way to kind of give this area more room. Now, the thing is, I was kind of thinking about this a lot too. Now, I was asking myself, the thing is, what is going to be used the most in this room? Now, the setup is huge. It is great. But the thing is, I'm planning to really open up the system and open up the business in about a year and a half, which gives me a long time to do a lot of testing. And there's no point in filling all these shelves up just for testing, which would be a huge waste of money. So I'm only going to use parts of the shelf, probably like 4 shelving units, probably this row, for testing and trying to figure out like how the plants grow, how to make it like as productive as possible, where the plants are like ready to be harvested this day of the week, and when I should like start germinating stuff. So I need to figure that out, but it's looking great. I'm going to start to move a lot of this stuff, and I'm hoping eventually at some point today I can go ahead and start zip tying the grow lights to the top of these shelves. Now, it'll look awesome once they're starting to be done like that. But the thing that gets me a little bit nervous is distance. So certain plants need the grow lights to be a little bit closer. So the grow lights are going to sit right here, meaning there is going to be quite some distance between the plants, which could cause some problems. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to figure that out as I go on with this business. I really need to kind of figure out where the electrical stuff is going to go. And I need to set it up efficiently. So if I do end up going with a solar generator and some solar banks in here, I need to set me up where it is easy to kind of rewire the room, where I don't have to unplug stuff, I don't have to take off grow lights, I don't have to fix it all up. So I'm thinking for the goal of it being as productive as possible, I know for the fact I'm going to have the main system sit right here. The really giant power bank. So the thing is, I'm thinking probably what would be best is I have a ton of those extension cords that I'm already using one of them, and I would just plug it in, and then the cords would go all the way around the room where I don't have to deal with the cords being in the main walking way. And then like there'd be probably 4 cords hooked up to it, one for the aquaponic system, one for zone 3, one for zone 2, and one for zone 1. So I'd probably just align it across the wall, I don't think it would be that big of a problem, but the thing is, it's going to cross. So it's gonna go over here and it's gonna cross the path. So I'm gonna have to figure some stuff out. I wonder if I could get some like green tape that somehow matches the carpet perfectly and kind of do that so no one trips over it. The odds of someone really succeeding in that and tripping over it is slim, and I don't really see it happening, but I want to make sure everything is safe in the room, so nothing bad can happen in here, because there is a lot of stuff that could go wrong in the room, and I want to prevent all those things, like electrical problems, maybe water getting on some electrical stuff, and that'd be worst case scenario. People tripping over some of the electrical stuff. There's a lot of problems that could eventually happen, and I want to bring the risk down as much as possible. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. I think I'm going to kind of figure it out and work from there, but there's definitely a lot more to do. Very, very excited though. I was not planning to get this much done today, and I know I'm talking a lot right here, but if you guys are sticking through, you guys have watched the video all the way through, I want to thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Now, this isn't going to be the end of the video. Let's go ahead and do the time lapse of really what I do next. So let's go ahead and start that now. All right, and here it is. Well, I will be completely honest. This took much longer than I thought it was going to take. I mean, I made a few oopses, which took a second to fix it. I realized I had these facing the wrong direction on, well, each side. This one was supposed to be, well, the way this is facing was backwards while this was facing the correct way. So it was flip-flopped. And then I realized I did it to all of them on the shelf. So in the beginning of the time lapse, you probably noticed I was going up and down each row. You probably noticed, or you were probably wondering, what on earth was I doing? So I ended up adding these green marks. Now, they don't mean much, and they will probably be taken out tomorrow, but they make it a little bit easier to kind of figure out how it's all going to be. So the way I've done it is, notice that this only has one. It's only on this shelf, while this is between each shelf. Now this makes it a little bit easier as I'm doing all these shelves tonight. So these ones will face a certain way. So the thing is, these grill lights have to be facing the correct direction in order to really work. So if both of these stickers are facing this way, it's just not really going to work. So the thing is, the power cord will go in here, then it'll have an extra piece that will go in here that connects it to here, and then there we go. So the thing is, I don't want this one to be on the outer one, because then I'm just going through extra space, and it doesn't look as neat, it doesn't look as good. It also kind of messes with the grow lights too and kind of pulls them a little bit more. So I'm going to have the ones that are going to be plugged into the outlet on the outer side. So the thing is, both the outlets are going to be facing the same way. So I'm thinking, for the goal of like having the setup as safe as possible and none of the electrical stuff getting wet during watering, because the last thing we need is an electrical strip to get wet, and then we all know how that happens, and the amount of things that can cause on oopses. But I had an idea, and I wasn't really originally planning to do this, but this is actually a great idea that my dad happened to mention. Instead of putting them on the floor, where it's just kind of like the aquaponics in the way. So the aquaponics used to be just kind of on a strip like this. that is basically exactly how it was. Now I have it in a box. Now I know that probably wasn't the best example where I said it's now not there, but for the goal of trying to make stuff as easy as possible, this one will never get wet, and usually I'll put a cover over it. I don't really know where the cover went actually. That's interesting, but the thing is, I do maintenance on the fish tank all the time, and I never turn off these grill lights. So the thing is, I need a little bit more access to make it a little bit easier on me to get to that one. So that one won't be as covered up as like the box over there, but the box will protect that a lot more. But kind of where I was going is, all the power strips and all the connecting pieces like that one will sit on top of the shelves, which will drastically help to keep it a lot more safe. Number two, keep it a lot more neat. And number three, it'll make it a lot easier on operation. Instead of trying to figure out where it is and try to like just all of that mess, it'll make it a lot easier. Now, of course, I am gonna have to grab a ladder. If I have to do maintenance on all of them up here, I'm gonna have to, it'll be a long time, but very, very excited about this. There's a lot of stuff still to go on in this room, a lot of just work that still needs to happen. I can't believe this took this long to do. It took a very long time, but it is currently coming up on 11 p.m. I'm just gonna go ahead and start with here and really just see how far I can get, and probably just do the rest tomorrow off camera. But this is doing a lot. It's just doing great. Now I'm also gonna have to go with probably scissors and cut these to well, I don't need these. So this room also looks great. I guess while I'm talking for like 20 minutes right here, this room definitely looks great. It's really, really awesome to kind of walk through here because I mean the room looks awesome. Now the thing is, I can still remember how 1.0 was laid out. Now the room was kind of like a storage room in a way. So we had a ton of boxes right here. We had Ben stacked back there. We had a basketball goal kind of folded up in the back. It was just this huge mess. The shelves barely fit in here. Now it's absolutely awesome after like 4 or 5 months of just work on this and trying to design it as best as I can, where construction can go as like smoothly as possible and just everything will go as according to plan. So far, this is just absolutely incredible, and I'm so grateful for really how well this is done. It's absolutely incredible to look at the setup, to see how many opportunities are going to be able to be presented with this business, and really with this setup. I'm really, really excited to learn a lot more about plants, especially now when I first built 1.0 and I started to get into kind of this setup as like a hobby while I was like my first year in high school, which is absolutely incredible. But the thing is, my original plan was just kind of to have this small setup. This setup was very small in the beginning, 1-2 shelves. I had 1 tower for the hydroponics, and then I got it to be 2 hydroponics. Went really bad. If you guys want to learn about how that went, it did not go well at all. I don't even think I got 1 successful harvest out of that. Then I ended up going to aquaponics. Now keep this in mind, I've never worked with fish before till I built the aquaponics system. So the first time I worked with fish was the very first time I've ever started working with aquaponics, which is just absolutely incredible. And to see all these fish starting to grow up, it was just absolutely incredible. Now, again, I really do want to thank you all, because none of this in here would be possible without you guys. Without you guys checking on the channel every single day to see what new video has been posted, to just really support the channel, really support me, and giving me good advice on like certain things I talked about in the kind of video I posted. Like trying to think on like, I had a really good one on like when I was getting into strawberries. I had someone comment that really, really helped out and really brought in many more stuff. When I had spider mites in here, that was a great comment. A lot of you guys have really helped with just learning about how this works and learning about all of this just absolutely unbelievable setup. So I really do want to thank you all. But while we're in this moment, let's just go ahead and start the time lapse of trying to get as much done and trying to just bring up as many of the grill lights as possible. And fingers crossed, I am going to have enough zip ties. I think I will, but if I keep breaking them, I broke a few right here while I was doing work. really hope I do have enough. So let's go ahead and start the time lapse now. All right, well, I ended up getting a lot more done. I didn't finish. I still have definitely a lot more grow lights to install. I think I'm just gonna save that for tomorrow and do that off camera. But today was extremely productive. Got a lot of great stuff done. Definitely a lot of stuff to do still, but it's just absolutely incredible to see this room slowly start to transform into kind of the idea, the vision, the blueprints, the really just absolutely incredibly awesome setup. So I'm very, very excited about this. And if you guys haven't seen the other building videos of just building this incredible setup, please check those videos out. We have multiple videos on really just building this awesome thing. We also have posted quite some shorts on really the brand new fish tank. If you guys want to see that journey, maybe adding some new fish, maybe some other stuff. We have a lot of shorts under that too. So if you guys do want to check that video out, please, or those videos out, please check those out. I'd be so happy if you would. And as always, this is going to be the end of the video, so please subscribe, hit the bell notification on all so you not miss a video, and please like this video. If you guys have any recommendations for some stuff I talked about in today's video that I didn't sound super comfortable with, or just kind of iffy on, if you guys have any recommendations, I'd love to hear what your advice is in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys when we post next. Peace.